Hey everyone, welcome to the gaming portion of the pickups. I'm not sure if you've had this happen before, but I'm sure you have if you've attempted to make a video where just nothing seems to go right. The previous pickup video with the music, movies, and games took me 5, 6 times over several days. The end result was not that great. I wasn't aware there was going to be such a drastic audio difference when I recorded the preface because I wasn't using this mic. I thought it would level out. It did not, so apologies if your speakers popped or if it got too loud for you. Just nothing went right. And in this video, this first portion is hardware and add-ons, and I attempted what I thought was a really neat thing, which would be to show you how to install a hard drive in your PS2, a SATA drive, so you could get a really cheap hard drive with a lot of storage, but that went terrible. Forgot a piece, then phone calls, and cats come in, then more phone call, and the whole thing just went to shit. This has not been going well. And each attempt you would think would get better as I got more practiced and what I know what I want to say, but instead it just gets worse and worse, and I can feel it slipping away, and I'm just, come back. But hopefully this goes smoother. I'm going to kick things off with this neat device I recently got in. Now, you know the problems of playing retro systems on newer TVs. There's lag. Even connecting them can be a problem. There's, of course, the famous MiSTer, which I believe is already out of production, or it's going to go out of production. Now, it does SCART, RGB, composite, component, and S-video to HDMI. Now, the composite and component, I don't think, or the component isn't that great. It's really for SCART, RGB. S-video is all right. I used it for quite a while with my PlayStation 1 videos, but I found them to be a little washed out and pixelated. And I was using an official PlayStation S-video cable, so I know it wasn't the cable. Now, a good alternative is the OSSC. That thing is pretty amazing. I hooked up my consoleized MVS to it. Zero lag. It was so whatever lag the FrameMeister introduces, however little it may be, none with the OSSC. The problem with the OSSC is it does SCART, RGB, and component. Well, if you have, say, a 3DO or a Jaguar, it's easier to get S-video cables for those than SCART cables, especially for the 3DO. You have to do an internal mod if you want to get that to work. So a developer came up with this, the Retro Tink. This has been getting really good reviews. I paid for mine quite a while back, and it was supposed to ship out a month or so ago, but there was a delay in manufacturing. However, he has them in stock, or Castlemania Games, if you want to go there, they have them in stock. But it does not do SCART RGB. That's why it's the mid-range solution. It's $100. So if you're looking at the FrameMeister, that's what, $300 or $400 at this point. If you want the OSSC, that's going up to $200 once you add the power supply and everything, because you can get one that's just bare bones. This is $100, and it does S-video, composite, component, and it goes to a mini HDMI out. I didn't have one of the HDMI cables, but he sells them for like $9, where one side is a regular HDMI end that goes into your TV, and the other is a mini that comes in here. There is no power supply. It is powered through USB. A lot of people said they can get it powered through their television. I haven't tried that yet, like I said, so I'll see how that works out. It can also work with standard power supplies you use for RetroPies or even phones for that matter. I'm going to go the TV method. I have a few USB ports on mine. Really excited to try this. It's supposed to be zero lag. It was originally meant for, I think, RetroPies, and it just kept getting better and better and better until it became a really nice mid-range solution. This is going to be primarily for my 3DO, and when I want to play my Duo outside of this room, it'll be for that. Also to hook up a VCR to my TV, because I didn't have a way to do that before. Not really necessary. You can get a cheaper way to do that, but it'll serve the purpose there. So if you're looking for a way to play your, especially component systems or S-video, go ahead with that route. Like I said, the OSSC does component, but it's double the price of that or more once you add in shipping and everything, because it ships from overseas. The other thing I wanted to show you, I paid for this over a year ago, and it finally came. And of course, when it came the same week, Stone Age Gamer got them in, which I will admit kind of annoyed me, because when you wanted this, the PSIO, which is funny because in the FAQ it says that's not an I, that's a 1, because apparently PSIO is already trademarked in Australia. It's meant for PlayStation development, but what you do is install a mod chip in your system, and this is a cart that hooks into the back of the system with an SD card slot, so that way you can play ISOs and not wear out your lens. The really nice thing about this is, unlike the RIA or the Phoebe for the Saturn and Dreamcast, or GDMU for Dreamcast, you don't replace the laser at all. This supplements it. We'll put some footage up where there's actually, you'll see the menu where you can play the disc. Only thing I found is if you leave a disc in the system, it seems to spin while you're playing an ISO, which, you're not going to want that. That'll wear the laser out. I wish there was a way, if you played an ISO, it would stop the disc spinning. That might be in a firmware update in the future. They put out a lot of updates. The compatibility so far has been really good. I've only had one game not work, and it was an import game, Arcade Wonders Gear 3, I want to say. The only negative is you do have to have a mod chip installed. You also need a parallel port PlayStation 1. However, all you people are lucky is that Stone Age Gamer will take care of all of that for you. You can buy this thing by itself, and I'll show you the chip. This is the chip you have to put in. Now, before they released this for sale, you had to sign up and then wait, and then you would get an email with a password, and when they put them for sale for a pre-order, you had to go there, enter your specific password, and then buy it. I did that, and this thing was supposed to come out back in September or so. While I waited, I ordered another PS1 with a parallel port. I had my original launch model, and I ordered 2 of these chips from the website. Got in touch with a modder that I know, and he wasn't doing any work at the time, but he said, yeah, I'd never heard of this. I'll give it a shot, see what it's like. And so far, so good. He's did a great job. It's working, but Stone Age Gamer will do it for you. They are going to sell pre-modded systems with this for $299. The service itself is only about $30, and you can buy this for $114 or $140. I think I paid more for this though, which again, this thing kind of annoys me. All around, if you pre-ordered this and you got it recently, you could have just waited and kept your money, because Stone Age Gamer got them in on the 9th, and I got mine in maybe on the 6th or the 5th or whatever. It's just a few days earlier. You might want to go the easy route and just order the bundle with the pre-modded system and the card. I gotta say though, this is really, really nice. The satiator, it's a similar system being worked on for the Sega Saturn, where you don't need to replace the lens. Now, I had a busted Saturn lens, so I wasn't too upset about having to replace that with the RIA. The Phoebe, though, I did replace a working lens, and that stung a little. I kept the drive, but I don't like having to take apart systems at work. Same for the Dreamcast. I took out a working lens for that to put the GDMU in there. These are better solutions, in my opinion, since you have the drive and this. It was really nice just to pop in. I think I used Final Doom in my example, the video that plays, that you see me load this, hit, I think, circle, and it loads the CD itself. What's another great thing about this is you can load patched ISO. So I showed a clip of Kingsfield 1 playing. Now, I showed the fan translated Kingsfield 1 before, but what you're seeing is recorded using this. This is it's not old footage, it's brand new, just to show off that the unit is capable of it. So another thing I wanted to do was show me installing a hard drive in a PlayStation 2. I might put footage of that up because it was really bad. I bought one off a guy on Atari Age for $50, and I just copied his setup. There is a program called HDD Raw Copy, I believe, and you hook up the one hard drive to a USB on the same system, 2 hard drives, 2 USB cables, same system, and you copy all the information. So I took his and copied it all to another hard drive. I was able to pick the hard drive up for like $40. It was a 1 terabyte SATA hard drive, which I think holds 300 to 400 PS2 games. I will show you what you need. You need the StarTech 40-pin IDE to SATA converter. I would show it to you, but I installed it in the system during the video, which went bad, so I don't have it. So you need this to interface with the new hard drive. You also need this cable. It is a RII top. Let's see. It's an IDE 40-pin male to female cable. These are like $4 on Amazon. So what that does is the network adapter is an IDE port, and that is what the old hard drives are. So this was the old hard drive I took out. This is the official Sony hard drive. If you can see that. Now this is what IDE looks like. So the cable looks like this. You use that cable, you hook it, you run it to this, and on the other side you install, on the other side of this picture are pins. That's where the cable goes I just showed. This is where your hard drive goes. This also has a power cable that hooks up to your network adapter. Important is to use electrical tape because the connection is really, really weak, and that's what I forgot the first time around. And if you try to slide the network adapter back in, the power cable's gonna come loose and the system won't recognize the hard drive. But just use some electric tape, works fine. The hard drive will just sit on the ribbon. That's not optimal, but I'm not sure of a better solution. I know some people can 3D print cases. I don't have a 3D printer, and I didn't see any for sale. You will also need these cables, StarTech. What these are for is SATA to USB to hook up the new hard drive to your laptop or desktop to move over the files. I'm going to show footage of what it looks like. People can get really fancy setups with box covers and all that. Like I said, I just copied the pre-made hard drive, so I have the setup that the seller set up, which was really simple. It boots a FreeMc boot from the hard drive instead of a memory card, and then you just load the hard drive, and instead of seeing anything nice, like I've seen some videos where it'll have a summary of the game, some screenshots, the box, I just have a list of the games I have on the hard drive, but so far they've all loaded perfectly. Really nice to have that, especially because my PS2, I got around 2 months after launch. The tray does not want to eject anymore. It's really wearing out. So I got that working, and I got the model he sold me. So I have two fat PS2s. I'm kind of saving my original one. I put it back away to keep it as a backup, and I'm just using the one he sold me. It's a little more roughed up, but it served its purpose. I got the hard drive because I'm not sure how to format a hard drive for the PS2 to put. I can do it with software they have. That's not the problem. It's setting up the FreeMc boot off the hard drive. I had no idea how to do, but the direct copy worked fine. So it's been really fun using it. Looks great. I got some, HD Retrovision cables. Hooked it up through Component. So really enjoying it. Another pickup is, if you follow FPGA development, there's the DE10 Nano. FPGA is what the Super NT is. Analogs NT and Super NT, and they have the Mega NT coming out, the Sega Genesis one. Well, this, I'll show you the unit itself. This is what they look like. Now, I've added a heatsink, and I added an SD RAM board. The SD RAM board is required for the NES core, but without it, you can still run the Genesis, TurboGrafx 16, SuperGrafx, and PC cores like Amiga, Spectrum, 486. I have not ran the PC cores yet. I really want to try the 486 one. The SD RAM is needed for the NES, and I'm not sure which else. So far, core development has been really, really quick. There was no Super Nintendo core, and then suddenly there was one, and now there's special chip support. There was no, there was another system they just added. They're working on the Jaguar. They're working on the 3DO. Someone's working on the Neo Geo. They cracked the 68000 chipset, and apparently that was used in a bunch of other consoles. And with that, they've started development, like I said, on the Jaguar 3DO. And things are going so quickly that I have not bothered to update the original cores on this because each week a new one's coming out. And they're adding all sorts of features such as filters, with scan lines or tweaking the viewing ratio. I'm just letting it ride for another few weeks and then see what they've come up with. There's also Game Boy, I want to say Game Boy Advance maybe. I'm really excited for 3DO and Jaguar and Neo Geo because I have all the systems, but they take up so much room. And I would like also to have them in another room because they're all in this den, which I don't come in often because of the heat. So it'd be really nice to have all in one. I would like a better case. People are starting to make those. But this is a really neat development. The board itself is only $110. And like I said, you don't need the SD module if you don't want to play NES. It comes with a power supply. It comes with an HDMI cable. You do need a keyboard to set it up, so you can buy these for $4. It's a Maker Spot multi-USB port with I forgot what USB that is, but that plugs into the DE10 Nano, and you can use a keyboard, USB controllers, whatever you want. I was using an Retro Freak controller adapter with a Super Famicom controller to play games, and that's what you'll see in the video. That's what I'm using to play. Like I said, comes with the power adapter, comes with an 8 gig SD card, micro SD card. But I left that one since it has the OS for the DE10 Nano, and I just bought a bigger one off Amazon because SD cards are nothing these days. So yeah, you will need a USB keyboard to set it up. Now, the only reason I also don't have it really hooked up is that it needs to stay plugged in, and there's a really annoying blue light. So I am waiting on Smoke Monster, who has a YouTube channel here. If you haven't heard his name before, he's really big into this. He recommended a power supply with an on-off switch and a toggle so it can work with the DE10 Nano. So that way you can leave it plugged in and it'll save your settings, and when you're not using it, you can toggle it off, but it won't erase your settings. At this point, once you unplug it, all of your controller settings are erased. So I got tired of constantly having to use the keyboard to set stuff up. But, the progress on that is really swift. They sell out, but they come back in stock really quickly. One interesting thing he said is that the actual components of this are worth about $300, but Intel is subsidizing it to get it in people's hands, so for development reasons. For Intel FPGA University program, but you get these off Amazon. You don't need to be a student or anything. So that's super cool. If FPGA is basically at this point what I associate it with is zero lag. They call it simulation instead of emulation because it's at a lower level. There's no software that the program has to interface with. The program interfaces with the hardware itself. That's why the Super NT is really good. Now, people are saying the Super NT, Kevtris, he programmed the Super Nintendo core, and you're just not going to get that. Well, it turns out people have been doing the Super Nintendo cores rapidly for this, and it's approaching that level. These cores are really good. The ones I've played, I ran into a few compatibility problems with the Genesis core, but not many. And I'm reading that development is just super fast on all of this. So definitely check that out. Hooks up to your TV with the HDMI. Looks great. You'll see that in the video.